It's been you who fueled my dogged faith in our future, even when the odds were great, even when the road is long. Hope in the face of difficulty. Hope in the face of uncertainty. The audacity of hope. America, you've vindicated that hope these past 8 years. And now I'm ready to pass the baton and do my part as a private citizen. So this year, in this election, I'm asking you to join me to reject cynicism and reject fear, and to summon what is best in us to elect Hillary Clinton as the next president of the United States.
Well, there you had it. The crowd on its feet. President Obama raising the bar with his closing remarks, endorsing his chosen successor. So tonight, it's Hillary Clinton's turn to step up to the plate and make the case for herself. Her camp says she will lean heavily on her theme, Stronger Together, when she makes the most important speech of her career. So what else can we expect to hear from her tonight? Joining us now, Jerry Seib, Washington bureau chief for the Wall Street Journal. You say she has three main things she needs to accomplish. What are they?
Well, I think the first, I'm oversimplifying here, the first one, make people like her more. Second, make them like Donald Trump less. And third, and I think this is a really important one for her, make herself be seen as the serious and substantive candidate, because, you know, the Democratic rap on Donald Trump, among others, is that his candidacy is all about attitude. It doesn't really have an agenda to back up that attitude. She does. She may not be a show horse, as her campaign manager said the other day. She's a workhorse. To be the workhorse, you have to have the material to work with, and I think she's going to try to do that as well. I guess the footnote, and this, John, goes back to what you said at the outset, you know, she was going to try to unify the party, to say essentially we're all here together now after sort of a rocky beginning to this convention.
There is an interesting piece online in the online version of the New York Times today. Jeremy Peters wrote this. He says, no one could close a trust deficit with the American people as large as Mrs. Clinton's in one speech, but Thursday night will be the beginning of what could be her biggest challenge in the general election, making voters think she is trustworthy. How do you do that?
Well, I agree with the sentiment there. In fact, I'm working on something similar for tomorrow, making the point that this is a longer-term process. It's not a one-night thing. She's got 3 or 4 months to accomplish this task, much as Donald Trump has a similar amount of time to convince people they can be comfortable with him as president. Neither of those things happens in one night or one speech or even 1 week. But the key here, I think, from her point of view, is to start making progress on that. It's tough because she's not a person on which who is not well known. There are many well-formed opinions already, so it's tougher for her than it would be for somebody who is more of a blank slate. She's not. She has to turn some views around on this question, I think.
But, you know, one of the things that it seems to me hurts her is the campaign advertising from her first go-round when she was running in 2008. She made what was a pretty well done commercial, I think, about the 3 a.m. phone call. But then, you know, she has the Benghazi episode happen while she is Secretary of State, and Donald Trump has said, you know, when the phone rang at 3 a.m., she wasn't anywhere to be found.
Yeah, well, I think they'll push back pretty hard on that idea by saying essentially, you know, look, the Benghazi episode has been plenty complicated. A lot of other examples of Secretary of State in which she was there at 3 a.m., flying around the world, going to Israel to help broker a peace between Palestinians in Gaza and the Israelis, for example. So I think they're going to take that on head on. I don't think they're going to avoid that charge. But again, it's one of those that's supposed to, it's an assertion about Benghazi that Republicans hope undercut both her image of competence and the one that says you can trust her to tell us what she's really doing.
It is going to be a fascinating race from here on out. Gerald Seib from the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for spending some time with us today, Jerry.